What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening. This is Mr. Opinionated coming to you in the car. I had something on my mind, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it. I believe I read we experienced a weekend with no fatalities in regards to gun violence and things like that. But today, of course, the day after, I heard that someone lost their life, not necessarily in Chicago, but this is someone who I know lost a family member to violence. So I decided to talk about what happens every time we lose a young person to violence. Now, you all are familiar with Whitney Houston and her song, The Greatest Love of All, Forgive the Shaky Camera. And she talks about the children being the future, and she talks about letting them lead the way. You know the song words to the song. And I don't think that we realize that it has really resonated with a lot of us about how much we're losing every time the life of a young person is taken through violence, meaning not natural death. Every time we lose a young person to violence, we lose a piece of the future. Every time somebody loses a young person to violence, we lose a legacy. Some crucial part of the future is taken away. And I don't know what it's going to take in order for things to change, in order for us to realize how damaging this is in our families. It's like, years ago when young people used to die, it was abnormal. It was not normal. It was something that did not happen all the time, and communities were devastated and families were devastated because it's just something that did not happen. But I don't believe that we really realize what we're losing. And Robin says, yeah, that person could have the mind that could have cured something. Exactly. And it's different when somebody passes away of natural causes. Of course, not taking anything away from that, but when somebody's life is ripped away, we've read of so many promising young people that have lost their lives, and most of the time it's by somebody else young. It's somebody that does not know how to deal with their feelings, that does not know how to deal with their upbringing, that does not know how to deal with somebody loving them, and they take the position where I just don't care. I'm going to be reckless, I'm going to be careless. But we are losing out on so much in our families, in our communities, and we're losing out on this talent, and we're losing out on these promising young people at a time that we really cannot afford to lose people. I mean, look at the country, look at the communities, look at your blocks, look at the world. We are losing talent. We are losing future artists. We are losing future doctors. We are losing philosophers. We are losing parents. We are losing activists. We are losing our future every time that a young person's life is taken away. I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know how mad we're going to have to get. I don't know what's going to happen in order for us to say, you know what, we're not going to take it anymore. And what's sad is that so many of the lives that are being taken by our own. They're being taken by people who've not been loved, by people who've not been raised, by people who feel like nobody cares, that people who have bought into materialism, and if they cannot have it, they're going to take it, and if you're not going to give it to them, they're going to remove you out of the way so that they can have it. We are losing so much. So when you lose a young person, we are losing a chance to do things differently, a chance to innovate, a chance to encourage, a chance to show more love. I'm like spellbound every time I hear that a young person has died, because I've been blessed to make it to the age of 40. I have a lot of friends that did not make it. I had a lot of friends whose lives were taken. Have a lot of friends who lost their lives to being incarcerated for some mistakes or things that they did. You know, they lost 10, 15, 20, 30 years of their lives. I've lost people that have life sentences, and it has to stop, and it's only going to stop when we stand up and do something. I in my heart of hearts believe that when our homes get together, that when our families get together, that when more love is being given, that when more care is being taken, that when more accountability in the family goes on, I truly believe that some of these things can stop. Now, that does not mean that if you're parenting and you're doing all that you can, that things are not going to be perfect. But I really believe that a lot of these people that are out here doing these things just have not been loved. They just have not experienced what it is to be special. And there are children who have been tossed away carelessly by adults. Selfish adults sometimes that want to live their lives, that want to do their own things. But I think it's really time for us to take a hard look at what we can do, and not so much about what the government can do, about the governor can do. I think it's time that we take a look at what we're losing, because we're losing a lot. So I just wanted to say that because, you know, in the midst of doing my job today, heard that someone lost their life, and it was a young person, 23 years old. And I was just saying, like, all of these young people are, and I don't say dying, they're getting taken away from us through violent means. And it's really sad. And we just got to do something. So I just wanted to talk about that subject. If you have any ideas of what we can do, chime in. I'm always looking and willing to collaborate, because I do not think that one organization has all the answers. I don't believe there is one miracle cure. I think all of us have a part of the cure to violence. I think all of us, if we work together, and of course that's in the ideal world, because a lot of times we don't want to work together because we don't want to share the credit for doing things, but we have to do something. We have to collaborate. This is our problem. I mean, the people on Capitol Hill, they're doing what they're doing. They're stealing money. They're taking people's benefits. They're doing what they're doing. But we, on the ground level, the soldiers, are going to have to do something. And I really believe that's the only thing that's going to change it. So let's just think about what we're losing, because we're just not losing. We're not losing people. We're losing pieces of the puzzle that can change our forever. So that's my message. Thank you so much for the people that have chimed in. I see, I had Robin. I hear, I see Mary. I see Sid. I see Katie Glam from high school. I'm just trying to walk through some things, and it's time for us to really realize that these lives that are getting taken away through violent means, we're losing so much, and it's sad. It's sad, and it's not just young men, it's young women. We're losing mothers, we're losing fathers, we're losing uncles, we're losing aunts, we're losing future grandmothers, and it's a pretty bad situation. So let's keep praying. Let's keep working together. I do believe that God is definitely a solution. I believe that there are a lot of things that are in God's word that are solutions to these problems. Yeah, we're really losing, because I see it. That's true. It's like, because I work with students every day. I work with these young children, and it's like we're losing. When we're investing so much in our young people. I think about the investments that parents are making in children. I think about the investments that teachers are making in children. I think about the investments that, community workers and advocates, we're investing so much in our young people. And it's just so sad when we've invested all this time and this energy and this love, and somebody plays God, because to me, that's that's what I call it. When you decide to take away somebody's life, to me, you are playing God, and you're deciding that they no longer to live, that they no longer deserve to live. And that's heavy. Murder is heavy. And I don't think enough people are talking about it. Of course, we know the media is talking about it, but they're creating hype. But I don't really think there is a deep enough conversation of what is happening when you decide to take someone's life away. You know, in the book of Genesis, when Cain decided to take his brother's life away, because at the end of the day, when you boil it down to the beginning of mankind, we're all related. We're all from the same source. And so when you decide to take the life of your brother or your sister, that is major. And people do it so carelessly. It's like it's not a big thing. So, and that's something to dig deeper into. Taking someone's life. What type of mindset do you have to decide that someone else does not deserve to live? So, you know, we're losing a lot. And sometimes I feel like we are losing more than we're gaining. So we need to create a hedge around our families first, because I believe that family is first. You know, sometimes we focus so much on the schools, we focus so much on the churches, we focus so much on community organizations that we forget that our first responsibility is to family. And God has designated parents as the first caretakers. So as parents, of course, I'm not a parent. I have siblings that are parents. I have friends that are parents. But the first line of defense is mom and dad. And I know to dig deeper into that, you know, we have a lot of broken homes. And I know I really talk about that, where you can turn it around, you know, stopping the violence through healing and helping families. And we just really got to get to the root cause of a lot of these problems. And I believe that it all starts at home. And parents are losing big time. Parents are losing children. And I think that in order for things to kick off, I think parents are going to have to step up. And that doesn't mean that everybody's not stepping up, but I think that parents and surrogate parents and aunts and uncles, I think that people at home are going to have to really step up and defend their families. And my cousin says, I'm truly concerned about what I see inside their own homes. It definitely dictates behavior outside of the home. And I see so much working in the school, so much from home spills into the academic setting. It's, you know, some of the students doing the things and the behavior and the language and just some of the things that they're doing. And I think, like, what is going on in this child's house? What is this child seeing? What is this child hearing? What is going on to where it has so heavily influenced the child that they cannot learn? Or what is going on so that it has influenced them so much that they want to physically lash out and attack somebody? It's a lot of things going on in these houses, and nobody wants to talk about it because people feel like they're being judged and feel like they're being beaten up on. But the first line of defense, and I will stand on that and I will not change, the first line of defense is that home, mom and dad, because it takes two parents to create a child. Now, everything doesn't always work out. You know, people fall out, people separate, people don't do what they're supposed to do, but we have to find a way to get these families back together, to keep these families together from the get-go. And I believe that is the only way that we are going to be able to make a dent in some of the things that are going on. Now, I don't believe that things are going to stop, because I believe that, you know, it's a sign of the times. I believe that before they get better, they are going to get worse. But there has to be something that we can do. And I think the easiest thing that we can do is to start in our homes. and to realize that we are losing out on our best treasure, our best asset, our best chance to make a difference. So that's my message for today. And just keep praying, keep working, keep reaching out, and keep trying to help people that need help. A lot of parents need help. A lot of people have lost their way. A lot of people abandon practices that were beneficial to child rearing because they just simply decided, I don't want to do that with my kids, even though that worked with you. So we're in trouble. Love you too, cuzzo. We need to, it's like the bat signal, like, when Batman came on and the bat signal was in the sky. We are in a state of emergency. We're in a state of emergency, and we need to declare the state of emergency, and we need to get busy, and we need to stop looking for outside people to come and save us, because the people that are going to do the most crucial work are those parents and that extended family, which was so important to so many of us growing up. So that's my message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.